I built a $900 million company, while my ex-husband and his mother sold my 15-year-old daughter to 1.6 million strangers. That's the sentence that plays on a loop in my head now. The one I whisper to myself at 3 a.m. when sleep won't come. The one that makes my hands shake when I'm standing in front of investors, venture capitalists, anyone who thinks they know what power looks like. My name is Elizabeth Harris, 51 years old, Chief Executive Officer of NeuralSync Technologies. Forbes called me a visionary. TechCrunch called me ruthless. My daughter called a stranger mom. But I'm getting ahead of myself. 6 months ago, I was in the war room of our San Francisco headquarters, closing the biggest acquisition in our company's history, $300 million, 12-hour days, 18-hour nights. My phone buzzing with messages from Kevin, my ex-husband, saying Sophia was fine, thriving even, living with him and his mother in their Sacramento suburb while I built an empire. I believed him. God help me. I believed him. The divorce was clean. Too clean, maybe. Kevin got primary custody because I traveled constantly. London, Tokyo, Berlin, back to San Francisco, a life measured in airport lounges and hotel suites that all looked the same. Sophia was 14 when the papers were signed. She hugged me at the courthouse and said she understood, said she was proud of me, said she'd see me on weekends. Weekends became every other weekend, then once a month. Then whenever my schedule allowed. Kevin sent photos. Sophia smiling. Sophia doing homework. Sophia hanging out with friends. Normal teenage girl stuff. His mother, Patricia, was in the background sometimes, always smiling, always supportive. The perfect grandmother stepping in while mom saved the world one algorithm at a time. I sent money. A lot of money. New laptop, dance classes, clothing allowance, whatever she needed. Whatever Kevin said she needed. I told myself I was setting an example, showing my daughter that women could build empires. That ambition wasn't a dirty word. That sacrifice meant something. I was a fool. The day everything changed was a Tuesday in March. We'd just wrapped the acquisition. The champagne was flowing in the conference room, but I felt hollow, empty. Like I'd won a battle in a war I couldn't remember enlisting in. So I did something I never do. I went home early. Not to my apartment in San Francisco, home, to Sacramento, to surprise Sophia. The flight was 90 minutes. I had my driver take me straight to Kevin's house, the sprawling ranch-style place his mother bought with her late husband's life insurance money. 4 bedrooms, manicured lawn, basketball hoop in the driveway. Very all-American dream. I had a key. Kevin never asked for it back. The house was quiet when I walked in. 2:30 on a Tuesday afternoon. School wasn't out yet. I figured I'd wait, maybe order dinner, try to be the kind of mother who showed up unannounced with takeout and terrible jokes. Then I heard her voice. Coming from upstairs, Sophia's voice. High, bright, performative. The voice she used when she was trying to impress someone. I climbed the stairs slowly. Each step felt like walking through water. Something was wrong. The air felt wrong. The light felt wrong. Her bedroom door was open. And there was my daughter. 15 years old, standing in front of a ring light the size of a car tire, wearing a crop top I'd never seen before, shorts that barely existed, makeup applied with professional precision. Her phone was mounted on a tripod, angled down, and she was moving, dancing, hips swaying, arms in the air, that practiced hollow smile that influencers wear like armor. But that wasn't what stopped my heart. It was the setup, the backdrop, the professional lighting equipment, the second phone on another tripod filming from a different angle, the rack of clothes in the corner, each piece tagged with sticky notes. The desk covered in products, skincare, makeup, random gadgets still in their packaging, a clipboard with what looked like a filming schedule. This wasn't a hobby, this was a business. I stood in the doorway, frozen, watching, invisible. Sophia finished her dance, struck a pose, held it for 3 seconds, then relaxed. She checked the phone, swiped, nodded to herself. Then Patricia walked into frame. My ex-husband's mother, 68 years old, wearing a headset microphone, holding an iPad. "Good take, sweetheart," Patricia said, her voice sugary. "But we need to reshoot. Your left hip wasn't popping enough on the chorus. The algorithm favors sharper movements. And smile bigger. You're selling a lifestyle, remember? Now, live stream starts in 20 minutes. We've got 4 products to push. The water bottles are the priority. We get 15% commission on those." Sophia nodded. Obedient? Mechanical. "Okay, Mom," she said. Mom. She called her Mom. The word hung in the air like poison gas, like a grenade with the pin pulled, like the end of everything I thought I knew. I must have made a sound, something between a gasp and a scream, because they both turned. Sophia's face went white. Patricia's went red. "Elizabeth," Patricia said, recovering fast, that smile sliding into place. "What a wonderful surprise. We were just... Get away from my daughter." My voice didn't sound like my voice. It sounded like something carved from ice, from stone, from 30 years of boardroom warfare and corporate bloodshed. Patricia took a step back. Sophia didn't move. She just stood there, under those lights, looking at me like I was the stranger. And that's when I realized I had to burn it all down. In 6 months, they made $248,000 off my child. I destroyed it in 3 days, legally, quietly, and forever. You want to know what real power looks like? It's not ring lights and follower counts. It's not dance videos and commission checks. Real power is knowing exactly which pressure points to press to collapse an empire before anyone knows you've declared war. I'm a CEO. I've dismantled hostile takeovers, crushed patent trolls, burned competitors to the ground with nothing but paperwork and precision. You think I couldn't handle my ex-husband and his mother? They had no idea who they were fighting. That first night, after I walked into Sophia's room and saw what they'd built, I didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't make threats. I told Sophia to pack a bag. Told Patricia we'd discuss this later. Walked out with my daughter in under 10 minutes. Kevin tried to stop me in the driveway. Big mistake. "You can't just take her," he said, blocking my car. "I have primary custody." I looked at him the way I look at executives who try to lowball me in negotiations. Cold, calculating, already 3 moves ahead. "Call your lawyer," I said. "I'll be calling mine, and the FBI, and every regulatory agency that handles child exploitation online. Your choice." He moved. Sophia didn't speak to me the entire drive to San Francisco. She sat in the passenger seat, arms crossed, staring out the window like I'd just kidnapped her from paradise. When we got to my apartment, she went straight to the guest room and slammed the door. I went to my office and opened my laptop. 72 hours. That's all I needed. First, I watched everything, every video, every live stream, 6 months of content. My daughter dancing, modeling, pitching products to strangers. Her TikTok account had 1.6 million followers. Her Instagram had 800,000. There were YouTube clips, Facebook reposts, even a Snapchat presence I didn't know existed. Patricia had turned her into a content factory. A walking, talking, dancing advertisement. The comments made me sick. Grown men saying things no one should say about a 15-year-old girl. Accounts with no profile pictures asking where she lived, what school she went to, if she had a boyfriend. And scattered between the creeps were the customers. Thousands of them, clicking affiliate links, buying water bottles, phone cases, workout gear, skincare products. Every purchase feeding the machine, every sale putting money in their pockets. I documented everything, screenshots, downloaded videos, saved every comment, every link, every product placement, built a file so comprehensive a lawyer would weep with joy. Then I made my calls. Hour 1. I contacted TikTok's legal department directly, not through the app's report function, directly, CEO to CEO channels. I explained that a minor was being commercially exploited on their platform without proper work permits, parental consent, or compliance with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. I mentioned the FTC. I mentioned Senate hearings. I mentioned liability. They listened. Hour 6. I filed Digital Millennium Copyright Act takedown notices for every video that featured Sophia. As her parent and legal guardian, I owned the rights to her image. Every video, every photo, every live stream clip that had been reposted across platforms. Hour 12. I reported the TikTok Shop affiliate account for COPPA violations. Federal law requires verifiable parental consent for anyone under 18 making money online. Patricia had forged my signature on the application. I had the original documents. I had proof. Hour 18. I contacted the multi-channel network that had signed Sophia to a representation contract. The contract Kevin had signed on her behalf without my knowledge. I informed them that the contract was void because California law requires both parents to consent to any entertainment contract for a minor. I attached my attorney's letter. I mentioned litigation. They terminated the contract within 2 hours. Hour 24. Sophia's TikTok account was permanently banned. 1.6 million followers gone. Just like that. Hour 36. Instagram followed, then YouTube, then Facebook. Every platform, every account, every trace of her online empire systematically erased. Hour 48. The frozen funds. TikTok Shop held over $60,000 in pending commissions. The MCN had another $42,000 in escrow. I filed emergency motions claiming the money was proceeds from child exploitation. A judge agreed to freeze the accounts pending investigation. Hour 72. It was over. 6 months of work. $250,000 in revenue. An entire business built on my daughter's body and face. Gone. Kevin called me 97 times. I answered once. "You're insane," he screamed. "You just destroyed everything we built." Sophia had a future. She was making real money. She could have been. "She's 15, I said, and hung up. Sophia didn't speak to me for a week. She cried. She screamed. She told me I'd ruined her life, destroyed her dreams, that I didn't understand what it was like to finally matter, to finally be seen. I let her rage. I'd taken everything she thought defined her. Of course she hated me. But then something shifted. It was late, almost midnight. I was working in my home office when she appeared in the doorway, eyes red, face exhausted. "Show me how you did it," she said quietly. So I did. I walked her through every step, every legal filing, every regulatory complaint, every strategic move I'd made to dismantle their operation. I showed her how power really works, not through followers or likes or dance videos, but through knowledge, strategy, knowing the rules better than anyone else, and using them like weapons. She listened. Really listened. For the first time in months, maybe years, my daughter saw me. The next morning I found her in the guest room with her laptop open. She was going through backup files, old videos saved on external drives, deleting them, one by one. "What are you doing?" I asked. She looked up at me, 15 years old, my daughter, really my daughter again. "Getting rid of the evidence," she said. Then she smiled, small, real. "I want to be you when I grow up." They put a 3-year management contract in front of my underage daughter that would have taken 70% of her income until she was 18. I made sure it never saw daylight. Want to know the difference between someone who exploits children and someone who protects them? Documentation. Cold, hard, legally bulletproof documentation. 2 weeks after I shut down Sophia's accounts, I was going through the files Patricia had kept: spreadsheets, revenue reports, engagement metrics. The woman ran my daughter's exploitation like a Fortune 500 company. Organized. Efficient. Absolutely criminal. That's when I found it. Buried in a folder labeled Business Docs. A contract, 12 pages, signed by my daughter, witnessed by Patricia. Dated 6 months earlier, right after the divorce was finalized. I read it 3 times before I let myself feel anything. The Harris Group Management Agreement. That's what they called it. Professional. Official. Like this was legitimate business, instead of what it actually was. 70%. They were taking 70% of everything Sophia earned until her 18th birthday. Every brand deal. Every affiliate commission. Every dollar that came through TikTok Shop, Instagram sponsorships, YouTube ad revenue, 70% off the top. The kicker? If Sophia tried to terminate the contract early, she'd owe them $100,000 in damages. A 15-year-old girl, $100,000. There was more. So much more. Clauses about content approval, mandatory posting schedules, requirements to participate in brand deals even if she was uncomfortable, penalties for missing live streams, penalties for gaining weight, penalties for not maintaining a certain aesthetic. They turned my daughter into an indentured servant. And at the bottom of page 12, in handwriting that made my chest hurt, was Sophia's signature. Small, careful. The signature of a girl who thought she was signing her way to stardom. Patricia had witnessed it. Kevin had notarized it. Nobody asked me. I called my attorney at 6 in the morning. Marcus Chen, 15 years of corporate law, but his sisters specialized in entertainment contracts for minors. I needed both of them. Get me everything, I told Marcus. Every lawyer who's fought management exploitation of child performers, I want the best. Money is not a factor. By noon, I had a team. By evening, we had a strategy. California has strict laws about contracts involving minors, especially in entertainment, the Coogan Law, designed to protect child actors after too many parents stole their kids' earnings in old Hollywood. It requires court approval for any contract where a minor performs services. It requires 15% of gross earnings to be set aside in a blocked trust account. Patricia's contract had none of that. It was illegal before the ink dried. But illegal and void are different things. We had to prove it. Had to make sure Kevin and Patricia couldn't come back with some revised version, some new scheme to monetize my daughter. We filed suit in family court. Elizabeth Harris versus Kevin Harris and Patricia Harris. Breach of parental rights? Fraud? Coercion of a minor? Undue influence. The hearing was set for 6 weeks out. Kevin hired a lawyer, some guy who handled DUIs and small claims. Patricia represented herself. They walked into that courtroom thinking this was about custody, about a bitter ex-wife causing trouble. They had no idea I'd brought a legal team that charged $800 an hour. Our case was simple. Devastating. First, we proved I never consented. California law requires both parents to approve any entertainment contract for a minor. My signature was nowhere on those documents. Kevin had signed as sole guardian, claiming he had full legal authority. He didn't. The custody agreement was clear. Major decisions required both parents. Second, we proved coercion. My attorneys deposed Sophia. Gently, carefully. She told them everything. How Patricia had presented the contract right after I'd missed her birthday because of a business trip. How she'd cried that night, feeling abandoned. How Patricia had said this was her chance to matter, to build something that proved she didn't need her absent mother. She was 15. Vulnerable. They'd weaponized her pain. Third, we proved undue influence. Patricia wasn't just her grandmother. She'd positioned herself as Sophia's manager, mother figure, and business partner. She'd isolated Sophia from friends who weren't useful for content. She'd controlled her diet, her clothes, her daily schedule. She'd created complete dependence. The judge listened, took notes, asked pointed questions. Then he ruled. The contract was void, unenforceable, unconscionable, his words, not mine. But he didn't stop there. He ordered Patricia and Kevin to return every dollar they'd taken. $248,000, plus interest, plus attorney fees, plus damages for emotional harm. Total judgment, $312,000. Patricia went pale. Kevin tried to argue. The judge cut him off. You exploited a child for profit, he said. Your own granddaughter, your own daughter. You should be grateful I'm not referring this case to the district attorney for criminal prosecution. They paid. Took them 4 months, but they paid every penny. I didn't keep it. Sophia and I decided together what to do with the money. We created a scholarship. The Sophia Harris Fund for Digital Literacy and Child Safety. Full-ride scholarships for foster kids and children of single parents pursuing degrees in technology, law, or child advocacy. First award goes out next fall. 15 recipients. 15. One for every year of Sophia's life they tried to steal. But that wasn't the end. Sophia came to me 3 months after the trial. She'd been in therapy, working through everything, getting healthier, getting stronger. I want to tell our story, she said. Not as content, as truth. So we did. We launched a podcast. Unfiltered. Mother and daughter. Talking about ambition and exploitation. Success and sacrifice. The cost of chasing likes and the value of real connection. First episode dropped 2 weeks ago. 500,000 downloads in 48 hours. We're not selling anything. No sponsors, no affiliate links, just 2 voices, 2 perspectives, 1 story. Sophia introduces me at the start of every episode the same way. This is my mom, she says, the woman who taught me that power isn't about being seen, it's about knowing when to fight. I didn't delete the videos. I bought every single one of them. There's a thing that happens when you become powerful. People assume you use that power loudly. Big gestures, press releases, public victories. They're wrong. Real power is quiet. Surgical. It's knowing that some battles aren't won in courtrooms or headlines. They're won in back channels and shell companies and transactions that never make the news. After the trial, after we'd voided the contract and launched the podcast, I thought we were done, thought Sophia was safe, thought the nightmare was over. Then one night I found her in the bathroom, 3 a.m, sitting on the floor with her laptop sobbing. Baby, what's wrong? She turned the screen toward me. Google search results, her name, page after page of her old videos, re-uploaded by strangers, reposted on TikTok compilation channels. Clipped and edited and shared across platforms she'd never even heard of. Archive sites, fan pages, creepy forums where men traded her videos like currency. We'd shut down her accounts, we'd voided the contract, we'd won in court. But the internet is forever. I can't make it stop, she whispered. It's everywhere. I'll be 40 years old and these videos will still exist. My kids will find them. My future boss. Everyone I ever meet will see me like that. I can't escape it, Mom. I can't ever escape it. I held her while she cried, made her tea, tucked her into bed like she was 5 years old again. Then I went to my office and started making calls. You don't build a $900 million tech company without understanding how the internet works. Content doesn't just disappear, it spreads, mutates. Lives in server farms and backup drives and cloud storage systems scattered across the world. But everything, even the internet, has pressure points. I started with the compilation channels, the YouTube accounts that had racked up millions of views reposting Sophia's content. 23 channels, some with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I didn't send cease and desist letters. That would have created a fight, made them defensive, turned us into a story. Instead, I had my attorney reach out privately. Business proposal. I wanted to purchase their entire content libraries. Every video, full buyout, name your price. They thought I was insane. Why would anyone pay thousands of dollars for random TikTok compilations? I didn't explain, just transferred the money. $2,000 here, $5,000 there. $12,000 for the channel with 800,000 subscribers. Total spent, $63,000. Small price for erasure. The contracts were ironclad. I purchased all rights to the content, full ownership, and immediately deleted everything. Wiped the channels clean, removed every trace of Sophia from their servers. 23 channels down, hundreds more to go. Next came the fan pages. Instagram accounts dedicated to reposting her old content, Twitter threads analyzing her outfit choices, Facebook groups where people discussed her like she was a celebrity instead of a child. I created a shell company, Digital Media Archives LLC, registered in Delaware, untraceable to me. Then I started making offers. Most fan page operators aren't making money. They're just obsessive. Lonely people building shrines to strangers online. So I offered them something better than money. I offered them purpose. I hired them. Paid them consulting fees to help me identify and catalog all existing content featuring Sophia across the internet. $50 an hour. Remote work. Easy money for scrolling social media. They had no idea they were helping me build a hit list. Within 3 weeks, I had a complete map. Every platform, every account, every video, photo, and post featuring my daughter. Spreadsheets with URLs, download links, engagement metrics, a comprehensive archive of her digital exploitation. Then I started buying. I purchased the domain names of gossip sites that had written about her. Bought them outright. Took down the articles. Redirected the URLs to blank pages. I paid image licensing companies to remove her photos from their databases, stock photo sites, celebrity news archives, entertainment blogs, every repository that had monetized her image without permission. I hired reputation management firms to flood search results with new content. SEO specialists who pushed the old videos down in search rankings buried them under layers of irrelevant information until they became invisible. I even bought the social media handles, all the parody accounts, the tribute pages, the impersonators, 14 different accounts across platforms, purchased them, deleted them, removed them from existence. It took 4 months, cost me $417,000. Worth every penny. The day I finished, I didn't tell Sophia, didn't want her to hope if I'd missed something. Instead, I waited, watched. Made sure the scrub was complete. Then one Saturday morning, she came into the kitchen for breakfast. Normal day. Nothing special. "Mom, can I borrow your laptop? Mine's charging." "Sure, baby." She sat at the counter, opened Chrome, and typed her name into Google search. I held my breath. The results loaded. News about the scholarship fund, our podcast, a few old local news articles about my company, standard stuff. Nothing else. She scrolled, clicked to page 2, page 3. Nothing. She tried different searches, her name plus TikTok, her name plus dancing, her name plus any keyword that should have pulled up her old content. Nothing. I watched her face. The confusion. The disbelief, the slow dawning realization. Mom. Her voice was shaking. Where did they go? They're gone, I said quietly. All of them. But how? That's not possible. The internet doesn't too. I bought them. Every single video. Every account. Every archive. I purchased the rights and deleted them. She stared at me, laptop forgotten, eyes filling with tears. You bought the internet? I bought the parts that mattered. She crossed the kitchen in 3 steps and threw her arms around me. 16 years old now, almost as tall as me, sobbing into my shoulder like she used to when she was small and scared. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for giving me my childhood back. I held her. My daughter. My brilliant, resilient, beautiful daughter who'd survived something no child should survive. You're not a product, I said. You're not content. You're my daughter, and nobody gets to own you but you. She pulled back, wiped her eyes, smiled. I want to help other kids, she said, kids whose parents can't afford to do what you did. And that's exactly what we're going to do. VCs gave me 48 hours, close Series C or lose unicorn status. I walked out of the room and never looked back. They don't teach you this in business school. How to choose between the thing you built and the person you love. How to calculate the value of being present against the value of being powerful. How to walk away from everything you worked for because something more important is waiting at home. This is that story. It was October. 7 months after I'd found Sophia in front of those ring lights. 6 months after I'd dismantled their operation. 4 months after the trial. 3 months after I'd scrubbed her from the internet. We were healing. Slowly. Therapy twice a week for her. Once a week for me. Family sessions every other Thursday. Building something new from the wreckage of what we'd lost. But I was still me. Still CEO. Still Elizabeth Harris, who'd built neural sync technologies from a garage startup to a $900 million valuation. Still, the woman who ate venture capitalists for breakfast and negotiated deals in my sleep. Series C funding, the holy grail, the round that would push us past $1 billion, unicorn status, the kind of valuation that changes everything, that cements legacies. That proves you're not just successful, you're historic. We'd been courting investors for 8 months. Goldman Sachs was leading, Sequoia was in. Every major tech investor on Sand Hill Road wanted a piece. The term sheet was 97 pages. The valuation was $1.3 billion, $250 million in new capital. We were 48 hours from closing. The final meeting was in Palo Alto, Tuesday morning. Every partner from every firm. Due diligence teams, legal teams. My entire executive staff. 23 people in a glass conference room overlooking the bay, ready to sign documents that would change my company forever. I was prepared, presentation polished, financials flawless, every question anticipated, every objection preempted. We were 2 hours into a 5-hour meeting when my phone buzzed. I ignored it. You don't check your phone when $250 million is on the table. It buzzed again, and again. Marcus Chen, my attorney, shot me a look. I silenced it. Turned my attention back to the Goldman partner who was questioning our user retention metrics. Then my Apple Watch started vibrating. Emergency bypass, the only calls that get through when everything else is silenced. Sophia's therapist. I excused myself. Walked out of the conference room into the hallway. Every pair of eyes following me. Knowing this better be life or death. Dr. Martinez? Elizabeth, I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you're in an important meeting, but Sophia is here and she's asking for you. She's having a severe panic attack. I've tried every technique we've worked on, and she keeps saying she needs her mom. I wouldn't call if it wasn't urgent. My heart stopped. Is she okay? Is she safe? Physically, yes, but emotionally she's in crisis. Something triggered her, A girl at school made a comment about her old videos, asked if she was the famous TikTok girl. Sophia's been spiraling for 3 hours. I really think you should come. I looked back through the glass. 23 people, $250 million, unicorn status, everything I'd built. I'll be there in 90 minutes, I said. I walked back into the conference room. Everyone went silent. Ladies and gentlemen, I said, voice steady. Professional. Final. I need to leave. Family emergency. We'll need to reschedule. The Goldman partner, Richard Sterling, 58 years old, never smiled in his life, looked at me like I'd just set money on fire. Elizabeth, we've got 23 people in this room. We're on hour 2 of 5. We close this deal today, or the offer expires. Those are the terms. Then it expires. You could hear the shock ripple through the room. My CFO looked like I'd stabbed him. My COO actually gasped. You're walking away from $1 billion valuation for a family emergency? Richard's voice was ice. Do you understand what you're throwing away? I gathered my laptop, my phone, my bag. Mr. Sterling, with all due respect, I understand exactly what I'm throwing away. What I don't think you understand is what I'm choosing. My daughter needs me. Right now. Not in 3 hours. Not after the deal closes. Right now. So yes, I'm walking away. And if that costs me unicorn status, then I never wanted to be a unicorn in the first place. I walked out, didn't look back. Didn't second guess. Just got in my car and drove to San Francisco. The traffic was brutal. Every red light felt personal. Every slow driver a punishment. My phone exploded with calls. My CFO, my board members, other VCs trying to understand if I'd lost my mind. I ignored all of them. 93 minutes later, I walked into Dr. Martinez's office. Sophia was curled up on the couch, face blotchy, eyes swollen. 16 years old and looking 12. She saw me and broke. Mom. I sat next to her, and she collapsed into my arms, held her while she cried, while she told me about the girl at school, about the panic, about feeling like she'd never escape her past, about being terrified that I'd choose work over her again. I'm here, I whispered. I'm here and I'm staying. Nothing is more important than you. Not money, not status, not billion-dollar deals, nothing. We sat there for 2 hours, talking, breathing, being present. That was 6 months ago. NeuralSync closed a smaller Series C 3 months later, $750 million valuation, $120 million in new capital, not a unicorn, but profitable, sustainable, built on values I could be proud of. And yesterday I got the call. Forbes, cover story. Female CEO of the Year. The headline, she chose motherhood over $1 billion. They asked me if I had regrets. I looked at Sophia, 17 now, healthy, thriving, studying computer science, planning to join my company someday on her own terms. Not even for a second, I said. Success isn't measured in valuations. It's measured in moments, in showing up, in choosing love over legacy. I built a company worth hundreds of millions. But I saved the thing that's priceless. Every fake happy update video they sent me for 6 months became courtroom evidence. You want to know the most valuable skill I learned in 30 years of business? Documentation. Obsessive, meticulous, paranoid documentation. Every email, every text, every conversation, every promise made and broken. When you're closing deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars, you learn fast. People lie. They smile to your face and plot behind your back. They send reassuring emails while dismantling everything you've built. So, you save everything. Because someday, maybe tomorrow, maybe 5 years from now, you're going to need proof. I just never thought I'd need it against my own family. For 6 months, while I was building NeuralSync, while I was in boardrooms and on planes, and closing the biggest deals of my career, Kevin sent me videos. Happy little updates. Sophia doing homework. Sophia laughing with friends. Sophia eating dinner with her grandmother. Don't worry, he'd text. She's great, thriving. You focus on changing the world. We've got this. I believed him. God, I believed him. But I also saved every single video, every text, every email, called it motherly paranoia, called it wanting to preserve memories, called it anything but what it actually was. Insurance. The custody hearing was set for January, 8 months after I'd walked into that bedroom and found my daughter under those ring lights, 8 months after I'd started dismantling their empire, 8 months of war. Kevin wanted custody back, said I was unstable, that I'd overreacted, that I'd destroyed Sophia's career out of jealousy, that he was the stable parent, the one who'd been there, the one who actually supported her dreams. Patricia backed him up. Sweet grandmother act in full effect, said I was a workaholic who'd abandoned my daughter. That Sophia had been happy, successful, flourishing until I'd swept in and torn apart her life. They had character witnesses lined up. Neighbors who'd testify about what a devoted father Kevin was, friends who'd talk about Patricia's sacrifice, even a child psychologist who'd evaluated Sophia once and said she seemed well-adjusted. They thought they could win. They had no idea what I'd been building. My legal team wasn't just corporate attorneys anymore. I'd brought in specialists, family law experts who'd handled the worst custody cases in California, forensic analysts, digital investigators, people who knew how to present evidence in ways that made judges pay attention. We spent 3 weeks preparing, going through everything, every video Kevin had sent, every text message, every social media post, every financial transaction, building a timeline, a narrative, a case so airtight they wouldn't know what hit them. The hearing lasted 2 days. Kevin's attorney went first, painted a picture of devoted father wronged by ambitious ex-wife, showed report cards, school photos, testimonials from people who barely knew Sophia. Then it was our turn. My attorney, Jennifer Parks, stood up, 52 years old, 28 years of family law, never lost a custody case involving child exploitation. Your Honor, she said, I'd like to present a comparison. She pulled up the first video on the courtroom screen, one Kevin had sent me, dated March 2nd. Sophia sitting at the kitchen table, smiling, doing homework. Patricia in the background making cookies. This video was sent to Miss Harris at 7:43 p.m. Mr. Harris's accompanying text said, and I quote, Sophia's doing great, straight as, living her best life. She paused. Let it sink in. Now I'd like to show what was actually happening that day. She pulled up Sophia's TikTok account archives, live stream footage. Same day, March 2nd, 7:15 p.m. 28 minutes before Kevin sent that happy homework video. Sophia. In full makeup. Tiny crop top. Dancing for an audience of 43,000 people. Comment section filled with grown men making disgusting remarks. Patricia behind the camera, coaching her movements. Bigger smile, honey. Show more enthusiasm. The algorithm loves energy. The judge leaned forward. Jennifer continued. This was the pattern for 6 months, Your Honor. Every happy update video was staged, shot specifically to deceive Miss Harris. Meanwhile, Sophia was working, hours every day, creating content, performing for strangers, being monetized by her father and grandmother. She showed more examples, video after video. Kevin staged updates side by side with the reality, homework scenes filmed right after 4-hour live streaming sessions, family dinner videos shot at midnight after Sophia had spent the evening pitching water bottles to teenagers, happy daughter footage carefully edited to hide the ring lights, the tripods, the evidence of commercial production. They weren't just exploiting Sophia, Jennifer said. They were systematically lying to her mother to enable that exploitation. Then came the financial records. Every transfer, every commission check, $248,000 over 6 months, 70% going to Patricia and Kevin, 30% to Sophia's account that they controlled. Every brand deal contract with forged signatures, every management agreement signed without my knowledge, every violation of California's child performer laws documented and cross-referenced. Then the text messages. Oh, the text messages. Patricia to Kevin. Keep sending Elizabeth those fake videos. She's too busy to notice anyway. Kevin to Patricia. Sophia asked about her mom again. I told her, Elizabeth chose work over family. Keep reminding her who's really there for her. Patricia to Kevin, if Elizabeth finds out, we're screwed, but she won't, she's too focused on her company. Jennifer displayed them all, projected on a 12-foot screen, impossible to ignore, impossible to explain away. Then came the medical records, Sophia's pediatrician noting weight loss, anxiety, sleep disruption, the doctor's concerns documented, Kevin and Patricia's refusal to follow up documented. Their insistence Sophia was fine documented. Everything documented. Kevin's attorney tried to object. Tried to claim the evidence was taken out of context. Tried to argue that the influencer career was Sophia's choice. The judge shut him down. I've seen enough, she said. The ruling came 20 minutes later. Full sole legal and physical custody to Elizabeth Harris. Kevin and Patricia granted 0 visitation rights, 5-year no-contact order except through court-appointed intermediaries, mandatory counseling for Kevin. Full financial audit ordered. Potential criminal charges referred to the district attorney. Kevin went white, Patricia started crying. I held Sophia's hand and didn't say a word. We walked out of that courthouse together, mother and daughter, free. You saved everything, Sophia said quietly. I always save everything, I said, just in case. She squeezed my hand. I'm glad you do. One 3-minute video from me got 87 million views in 24 hours and ended a grandmother's career. I never wanted to go public, never wanted to turn our private nightmare into a spectacle. I'm a CEO. I handle problems quietly, surgically, behind closed doors where the real power lives. But sometimes quiet isn't enough. Sometimes the only way to stop a predator is to show the world exactly who they are. It was March, 1 year after I'd walked into that bedroom, 6 months after the custody hearing, 3 months after we'd won sole custody, and the no-contact order. Sophia was healing. Therapy was working. She'd gained weight, started smiling again. Real smiles, not the performative ones she'd learned for the camera. She'd made actual friends. Was talking about college, about a future that belonged to her. Then I got the call from Marcus. Elizabeth, we have a problem. Patricia had started a TikTok account. Grandma Pat's Corner. Wholesome content. Baking cookies. Gardening tips, life advice. 63,000 followers in 2 weeks. Growing fast. And in the comments, carefully, subtly, she was telling her version of the story. Poor grandmother separated from beloved granddaughter by vindictive ex-wife. Heartbroken about losing contact, praying for reconciliation. Playing the victim, building sympathy, rewriting history. She's monetizing it, Marcus said. Brand deals, sponsorships. She's doing exactly what she did with Sophia, except this time she's using your story to build her platform. I watched her videos. Every single one made me sick. The fake sweetness, the manipulative narrative, the way she positioned herself as the wronged party, as someone who'd only ever loved and supported Sophia. The comments were worse. Thousands of people defending her, attacking me, calling me a career-obsessed mother who'd destroyed my daughter's dreams, who'd stolen a child from her loving grandmother. They had no idea what she'd done, what she was capable of, who she really was. Sophia saw the account, came to me crying. "She's doing it again," Sophia said. "She's lying, making people feel sorry for her, using me to get famous. Mom, we have to stop her." "I know, baby. I know." "Then do something, please. You're the only one who can." I thought about it for 3 days. The risk, the exposure, the fact that going public meant our story would belong to millions of strangers, that we'd lose control of the narrative, that Sophia would become a case study, a cautionary tale, a trending topic. But Patricia was out there building an empire on lies, teaching other people that you could exploit children and face no consequences, that you could rebrand and start over and profit from your own manipulation. No. Not on my watch. I called my marketing director, my video team, my legal counsel. "We're making a video," I said, "and it's going to burn everything down." The video was simple. 3 minutes, no music, no narration, just facts. It opened with Patricia's current TikTok account. Her smiling face, her cookie recipes, her 63,000 followers. Then a title card. "This is what you see." Cut to black. New title card. "This is the truth." Then we showed everything. The management contract. 70% commission highlighted. The penalties. The requirements. The clauses about weight maintenance and aesthetic standards. Text messages between Patricia and Kevin. Every manipulative word, every lie, every moment they'd weaponize Sophia's pain. Financial records. $248,000. Where it went, how they'd spent it. Court documents. The judge's ruling. The 5-year no-contact order. The reasons why. Screenshots from Sophia's old comment sections. The predatory messages. The adult men saying disgusting things to a 15-year-old girl. The evidence Patricia had ignored because it drove engagement. And finally, medical records, redacted appropriately, but showing weight loss, anxiety, depression, the documented harm. No commentary, no accusations, just evidence. Clean. Undeniable. Devastating. The last title card. Her granddaughter is safe now. But how many other children is she targeting? I posted it from NeuralSync's official TikTok account, 2.3 million followers, corporate credibility, verified checkmark. Then I walked away from my computer and waited. The video hit 1 million views in 40 minutes. 5 million in 3 hours. 20 million by midnight. 87 million in 24 hours. The comments section exploded. People sharing their own stories, thanking us, tagging Patricia's account, demanding answers. TikTok's algorithm did the rest. The video went nuclear. Every platform, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, news outlets picked it up. CNN, NBC, Forbes, The Washington Post. Patricia's account started hemorrhaging followers, 63,000 down to 42,000, down to 21,000, down to 8,000. Then came the mass reports. Hundreds of thousands of people reporting her account for exploitation, for violating community guidelines, for being a danger to children. TikTok banned her 72 hours after I posted the video, permanently, across all platforms. Instagram followed, Facebook followed, YouTube followed. Grandma Pat's corner was dead. And this time, there was no coming back, because now the world knew who she really was. But I wasn't done. 3 days later, I posted a follow-up video. Same account, same format. This time, Sophia was in the frame, sitting next to me, 17 years old, strong, clear-eyed, ready. "My name is Sophia Harris," she said, looking directly at the camera. "You've seen videos of me for the past year, videos my grandmother posted, videos strangers reposted, videos that told a story about who I was." She paused, breathed. "But you never heard my voice, my real voice, so I'm going to tell you what actually happened." And she did, for 8 minutes. Unscripted, unedited, raw. The response was immediate, overwhelming, beautiful. Comments flooded in, support, love, thousands of survivors sharing their stories, parents thanking us, teenagers saying they'd been saved. That video got 93 million views. But the number I care about most is one. One daughter. Safe. Free. Using her real voice. Finally. 2 years ago she wanted to be Addison Rae. Today she's a CS major, Stanford class of 2029. Recovery doesn't happen in courtrooms. It doesn't happen in viral videos or custody hearings or legal victories. Real recovery happens in the quiet moments. The Tuesday afternoons. The ordinary days when nobody's watching and you have to decide who you're going to become. This is the story of those 2 years. The 24 months between the girl who called her grandmother Mom and the young woman who just got accepted to Stanford. The first 6 months were hell. Sophia wasn't just recovering from exploitation, she was detoxing from validation. From the dopamine hits of likes and comments and follower counts, from the constant performance, the never-ending need to be seen. She'd wake up at 3 in the morning reaching for her phone to check engagement metrics on accounts that no longer existed. She'd catch herself angling for the light when we took family photos, smiling that hollow influencer smile before remembering she didn't have to anymore. Dr. Martinez said it was normal, that Sophia had been conditioned, trained like Pavlov's dog to associate her worth with numbers on a screen. That unlearning that would take time. So we gave her time. We established routines. Real ones. Not posting schedules or content calendars. Human routines. Breakfast together every morning. Dinner every night we were both home. Weekends hiking in Marin or exploring bookstores in Berkeley. No phones at the table, no photos for the internet, just us. Slowly, she started coming back. The turning point came 8 months in. Late night. I was working in my home office, debugging code for a new feature our engineering team couldn't crack. Sophia appeared in the doorway, 18 months since I'd found her in that bedroom. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Trying to figure out why this authentication protocol keeps failing. It's driving me insane." She came closer, looked at my screen. "Can I try?" I was surprised. Sophia had never shown interest in my work. Never asked about code or algorithms or the technical side of neural sync. "Sure, baby." She sat down, studied the code, asked questions, smart questions. Questions that showed she was actually thinking about the problem, not just making conversation. We worked together for 3 hours. At 1 in the morning, she found the bug. A single misplaced bracket buried in 600 lines of code. "There," she said, pointing, "that's breaking the whole loop." She was right. I fixed it, ran the test, it worked. "How did you see that?" I asked. She shrugged. "I don't know. It just made sense. Like pattern recognition. Seeing what doesn't fit. Have you ever coded before?" "No, but I want to learn." So we started coding together, mother-daughter sessions, late nights, weekends. I taught her Python first, then JavaScript, then she started teaching herself, devouring tutorials, building projects, falling in love with the logic of it, the power of creating something real. "I like that code doesn't care what I look like," she said one night. "It just cares if I'm right." That's when I knew she was going to be okay. School was harder. She'd missed so much. 6 months of her freshman year lost to content creation. Her grades had tanked. Her teachers barely knew her name. But Sophia fought back. Summer school, extra tutoring, hours in the library relearning everything she'd missed. I watched her transform from the girl who'd valued followers over education to someone who stayed up past midnight studying calculus because she actually wanted to understand it. Junior year, she took AP Computer Science, got a perfect score on the exam. Senior year, she built an app, a mental health platform for teenagers recovering from social media addiction, called it Unfiltered. Same name as our podcast, but this time it was hers, her vision, her code, her voice. She submitted it to Stanford's engineering program as part of her application. The acceptance letter came in March, full scholarship, early admission to the computer science program. We cried, both of us, holding each other in the kitchen. 2 years of work, 2 years of healing, 2 years of choosing the hard path when the easy one would have been to give up. But we didn't give up. We fought, together. Graduation was last week. Elite private school in San Francisco, the kind of school that sends kids to Ivy League universities and Nobel Prize careers. Sophia was valedictorian, perfect GPA, president of the Coding Club, founder of 3 student organizations focused on digital wellness and online safety. I sat in the audience watching her walk to the podium, 18 years old. My daughter, the girl I almost lost, the young woman she'd become. She spoke for 12 minutes. About resilience. About the difference between being seen and being valued. About the journey from performance to authenticity. Then she looked directly at me. 2 years ago I measured my worth in followers, she said. In likes, in comments from strangers who didn't know me and didn't care about me. I thought that was power. I thought that was success. Her voice was steady, strong. Then my mom showed me what real power looks like. Not by rescuing me, not by fighting my battles, but by teaching me to fight my own. By showing me that the hardest code to debug is the one running in your own head, the lies you tell yourself about who you need to be. She paused, smiled. My mom didn't just save me, she showed me I could save myself, and that's the greatest gift any parent can give. The audience erupted, but I barely heard them. I only saw her, my brilliant, resilient, beautiful daughter, standing in front of hundreds of people, using her real voice, living her real life. 2 years ago, she wanted to be Addison Rae. Today, she's Sophia Harris, computer science major, Stanford class of 2029. And she's exactly who she's supposed to be. If you're a parent watching this, pay attention. Really pay attention to what your kids are doing online, to who's managing their accounts, to whether they're building a future or being exploited for someone else's profit. And if you're a kid being pushed into content creation against your will, know this: you have power. You have a voice. And somewhere, there's someone who will fight for you the way I fought for Sophia. Never stop looking for them. They wanted a cash cow. I gave my daughter a legacy. There's a question people ask me now. At conferences, in interviews, on panels about tech and parenting, and the intersection of power and responsibility. How did you move forward? How did you turn something so terrible into something good? The answer is simple. You don't move forward, you move through, and you bring others with you. 18 months after Sophia got into Stanford, we were having breakfast in our kitchen, Saturday morning. Pancakes, coffee, the kind of normal moment we'd fought so hard to reclaim. Sophia's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, frowned. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Message from a girl I don't know," says her mom follows our podcast. She's 15. Her dad's been running her YouTube channel for 2 years, making her do makeup tutorials 8 hours a day. She wants help, but doesn't know how to stop. I set down my coffee. What did you tell her? Nothing yet. I don't know what to say. She looked at me. Mom, we get messages like this all the time, dozens every week. Kids trapped in the same thing I was. But we can't help them all individually. It's too much. She was right. Since going public with our story, we'd become a beacon. Every exploited kid, every concerned parent, every person who'd survived something similar reached out, looking for guidance, for resources, for proof that escape was possible. We'd been responding case by case, offering advice, connecting people with therapists and lawyers, but it wasn't sustainable, wasn't scalable. Then we don't help them individually, I said. We build something bigger. Sophia looked up. Like what? A foundation. Real infrastructure. Legal resources. Therapy funding. Educational support. Everything I used to save you. We make available to everyone. Her eyes widened. We could actually do that? Baby, I built a $750 million company. I think we can build a foundation. We launched the Second Act Fund 6 months later. Me and Sophia, co-founders, equal partners. Not Elizabeth Harris's charity with her daughter as the poster child. A real partnership. Sophia on the board, making decisions, shaping strategy, using everything she'd learned and survived to help others do the same. The mission was simple: rescue exploited teen content creators and give them the resources to reclaim their lives. We offered legal aid, connecting families with attorneys who understood child exploitation law, helping them void contracts, pursue custody changes, file protective orders. We provided therapy funding. Full scholarships to trauma-informed therapists specializing in technology, addiction, and family exploitation. We created educational grants, helping kids who'd missed school while building someone else's empire, summer programs, tutoring, college prep, whatever they needed to rebuild their futures. And we built a network. Safe spaces. Support groups. Mentorship programs. Kids who'd escaped helping kids still trapped. Creating a community of survivors who understood. Sophia led the Youth Advisory Board, 19 years old, Stanford sophomore, speaking at conferences, training social workers, teaching other survivors that their voices mattered. The stories came flooding in. Marcus, 16, whose mother had forced him to do dangerous stunts on TikTok for 3 years. We got him out. Got him therapy. Got him into a performing arts high school where he channels his energy into theater instead of viral videos. Priya, 14, whose parents had been running her Instagram account since she was 9, 2 million followers, 0 childhood. We helped her parents understand what they'd done. Facilitated family therapy. Last month, she sent us a photo of her 8th grade graduation, first normal year of school she'd had in 5 years. Jackson, 17, whose grandfather had been monetizing his gaming streams, keeping every dollar, using the kids' sleep deprivation as content. We got Jackson emancipated. Set him up with a trust fund from his frozen earnings. He starts at MIT next fall studying game design. Hundreds of kids, hundreds of families, all getting the second act we'd fought so hard to create. The fund grew fast. Donors who'd watched our story, tech companies trying to atone for their platforms enabling exploitation, celebrities who'd seen the dark side of early fame. Within 2 years, we had $12 million in funding. Staff in 5 cities, partnerships with child advocacy organizations nationwide. And through it all, Sophia and I worked side by side, mother and daughter, partners, friends. Last month we got invited to speak at TEDx Seattle, The Cost of Going Viral, a mother-daughter conversation about exploitation and recovery. We stood backstage together, Sophia in a simple black dress, me in the navy suit I'd worn to close the Neuralink acquisition, the the one I'd been wearing the day I found her in that bedroom. "You ready?" I asked. She squeezed my hand. "With you? Always." We walked on stage together, hand in hand, the way we should have been all along. Sophia spoke first, about what it felt like to be commodified, to measure your worth in metrics, to lose yourself in someone else's vision of who you should be. I spoke second, about guilt, about missing the signs, about learning that being powerful in business means nothing if you're not present for the people who matter most. Then we spoke together, about the fund, about the kids we'd helped, about the systematic changes needed to protect children online, about corporate responsibility and parental awareness and the desperate need for stronger regulations. The audience was silent, transfixed. When we finished, Sophia stepped back, gave me the final moment. I looked out at 2,000 people, thought about that Tuesday afternoon 2.5 years ago when I walked into my daughter's bedroom and realized I'd failed her. "I was gone for 6 months," I said. My voice steady, clear, final, building an empire, chasing success, believing I was setting an example, when I was really just absent. I turned to Sophia, my daughter, my partner, my greatest achievement. I spent the rest of my life making sure I never left her again. We became the family they tried to destroy. And we turned that destruction into something beautiful.